Hello. I've arrived. Artist, archivist, future man, and tonight, alchemist. You can call me Tiberius Vanderfield. Hello. Hello. Yes, so, new game today. Yes, both in the sense that it is a new game to me, and in the sense that it is a new game overall. So yes, Atelier Yumia, the Alchemist of Memories and the Forgotten Land. So yes, I suppose before we get into the game, we should, as usual, go over the business. So yes, so, tonight, Atelier Yumia, as mentioned. So yes, tomorrow and Saturday, most likely we will see some more Arknights. So yes, hopefully, if at all possible, we'll try to get the event wrapped up on Friday. And if so, probably I'll do something else Saturday. Maybe I'll do some more Guilty Gear or something like that, because we're not planning on that Friday. But, yeah, one way or the other, we do need to make sure that the event is out of the way. So if it's not done Friday, it will be done Saturday. Ideally. So yes. And I might start early on Saturday, just in case we need to. But yes, let's see. I want to make sure that before we get into the game, I want to double check my audio to make sure we don't have any issues. That looks good. I might need to adjust the game audio once we're in-game, of course. Alright, everything's looking good for me. Anyway, so, the Friday stream you can expect to be around 9:30 p.m. Central Time, and then the Saturday stream, I think I'm gonna aim for 7:30 with that one. Again, I want to see about, well, okay, I'll aim for 7:30 if the event is not clear. Thus, we will have extra time to do the event. If the event is clear, then we will wrap up. If the event is clear, we will do Guilty Gear and we won't feel any need to start early. Yes. So, that of course is contingent on the events of tomorrow, which is not today. Today is Atelier. So, we will do Atelier. So, game's a little bit slow to start up. Yeah, so we'll give it some time, and while we do, I'll sit here and I will talk a little bit. Okay, it's not as slow to start up the second time around. We do, in fact, have a loading screen now. But yes, I was a little bit worried. I shared that worry yesterday, that the game would allow me to preload and, be downloaded in time for the stream today. But yes, so the game did not allow me to preload in any capacity. So I was definitely worried. But yeah, the game also wasn't immediately available when I first started. Yes, I've already launched this just to test and make sure everything's running properly. But yes, the game had already... Okay, we do have game audio. I double-checked that as well. But yes, the game didn't become available immediately at 8. I suppose I probably shouldn't talk over this cutscene necessarily. I can do a little bit of talking over the cutscene. Game audio does look a little bit high in the monitor. Anyway, so the game didn't become available immediately at 8, which worried me a bit more further. But yes, it took until I think around 8:20 or so before Steam would allow me to start downloading it. And during that time, an elevator started to collapse. But yes, during that time, it was saying that it was not available, which I was a little bit worried about. I was wondering if something might... I feel like I'm detracting a little bit from the seriousness of this scene. Anyway, we'll get back to what I was saying when I'm in a little bit less mortal peril. Very fun. Yes, definitely the thing that made me most interested in this game, other than the fact that this is an Atelier game, is the fact that the lead character just sort of has a gun. It's not as though characters with guns have not featured in Atelier games before, but I definitely wasn't expecting it. It didn't seem like a thing that you would see from a ordinary Atelier protagonist. Coming into contact with a monster out in the field will start a battle. Once in combat, the aim is to wipe out all the enemy thieves that appear, reduce their HP to 0 to win. Characters and skills. Characters can learn unique skills, most of which can be used to attack enemies. Press X, Y, B, or A to activate a skill. Try using one now. I am using an Xbox or I'm using a PlayStation controller, so none of those will quite be what they are. But nice. Alright, I accidentally skipped something there. Skills with 2 or more uses can be used multiple times in a row, however the cooldown does not begin to tick down until after the skill animation ends. You can also continue the chain by pressing Y, X, B, or A to activate a different skill. Give it a shot. Let's give this thing quite a few shots. This concludes the tutorial. Go out there and find your own battle style. Nice. Very nice. Yes, but as you can see by the fact that we are playing the game, I did get it downloaded in time. Yes. Indeed it does. Yes, one other thing that I noticed that I hadn't known I hadn't known prior to today. Actually, it was yesterday that I learned it. Yes, one thing that I hadn't known prior to yesterday was that there is in fact a demo for this game. There's a demo for this game, and the progress that you make in the demo carries over to the main version. And I did download the demo just in case. But yes. I was a little bit worried that the demo might be framed somewhat differently from the game itself or something like that, but everything should be, we're playing the game. We're playing the game, so we don't need to worry about whether or not the demo would be 100% representative of the end product. Alright, destinations for your adventure are registered in quests. If multiple quests are active, you can select the one you'd like to track. A guide to your destination can be displayed by pressing down on the right stick. If there are multiple destinations, the guide will show you the way to the closest location. So yeah, so I saw the demo. Move obstacles that are in your way to clear a path. Press Y to grab on, and RT and right trigger to push them. Sorry about that, I got a little bit distracted there for a second. Yes. So I haven't... Yeah, I've seen a little bit of gameplay of the demo. Right trigger, there we go. Yeah, I've seen a little bit of gameplay of the demo. Haven't played it, and of course we haven't had any need to do so. By jumping while facing a wall, you can perform an additional jump, allowing you to reach higher areas. We will, of course, whack the barrel. Very nice. Oh. So yes, I did watch a little bit of gameplay. Yes, press B while out exploring to crouch. Crouching allows you to pass under low ceilings and makes it more difficult for enemies to notice you. Yeah, more or less what I was wondering with regards to the demo was whether it was going to be just the intro to the game, basically, or if it was going to be something broadly unrelated to the game that just sort of demonstrated the events of the game, or something of that sort. You can use the shoot action while out exploring. Press left trigger to ready your gun, then press right trigger to fire whichever ammunition you have set. Shooting can allow you to obtain ingredients from high places or activate switches. You must have ammo to shoot, which can be created via simple synthesis. Press right bumper while your gun is out. If you press right bumper while your gun is out, you will lock on to the closest target. There we are. Quite a perilous endeavor this is. All the more so now. Well, it seems that if the way out was that way, let's hope it wasn't that way. Proceed. Yes. So, in general, I have a vague familiarity with the series. I've not played any of the games extensively. Do I need to see the... Yeah. I saw that this was to be shot in order to proceed further. So yes, we need to get a trigger for it first. We need to get a trigger before we can pull the trigger. Is this perhaps... Oh. I was trying to have a cool moment there. I'd appreciate it if you didn't bother me during my cool moments. Anyway. Now, let's try to have a cool moment again. Is this perhaps the envisioned land? Anyway. So yeah, so I'm broadly familiar with the series. I played a few games. I have quite a few of them. I think I've mentioned that before, but I have all of the Dusk trilogy of games. I have the original Arlen trilogy and the sequel that came out quite a while later. Yes, I have the first Atelier Ryza, and I have the first of the Mysterious games. So yes, I've not beaten any Atelier games, but I have seen... Yes, I've not beaten any of them, but I have watched Let's Plays of several of them. Yes, that's sort of the story of my life in a lot of... the story of my gaming life in a lot of ways. There we are. Nice. So yes. So I've not seen a whole lot of this game in particular. This one looks to be a little bit more dangerous than the others. Not seen a lot of this game in particular. Like I said, I did see some gameplay of the demo, but pretty much only up to this point, basically. Up to the point where they begin this particular fight. Tutorial. Rumble encounter. During certain fights, the battle will start with all the enemies in the same area, triggering a rumble encounter. In this kind of encounter, enemies will not be considered KO'd until each foe's HP has been reduced to 0. They're also rather vicious, so be sure to keep an eye on your own HP. Defending and evading. Holding left trigger puts you in a defensive stance. Guarding at the right time will result in a precision guard, which considerably reduces damage taken. While defending, pressing the left stick. So yeah, so I assume that means, you know, pressing it and not just moving with it. Yes. Pressing the left trigger or left stick will allow you to evade. Successful evasion will nullify the enemy's attack. Okay, so you do move around. Yeah, so it's not just sort of a stationary dodge. Using a skill directly after evading slightly boosts the power of the skill. Try it out. Alright. Area of effect attacks. Enemies have unique AoE attacks. Getting out of range before they activate is enough to avoid them. If multiple enemies in an area use AoE attacks at the same time, evading becomes much more difficult. Try using the left stick to move out of harm's way when that happens. Alright. If there isn't enough time to move, try guarding or evading. Make sure you make your pick based on the circumstances. This concludes the tutorial. Get out there and find your own battle style. Alright. Rapid fire. Right parts. Yes, I don't know if there's anything... Yes, anything approximating... Oh, nice. Yes, anything approximating a sort of rotation to be had at this point in the game. Whether I want to use abilities in any order. Up we go. More lovely scenery while we escape from a terrible catastrophe. I suppose there's not necessarily a catastrophe going on, it's just that the building that we're in is collapsing. Which is less than ideal, but, you know, it's not a natural disaster or anything. Alright. So yeah, so it looks like shooting that enemy reduced their stats. Nice. Very kind of you to walk into my kick. Anything else? As other Atelier protagonists would say, barrel. But yeah. There's a long-running joke in the series of protagonists responding very, like... Sometimes when you interact with a barrel, the protagonist will just say, barrel, or something to that effect. Yumia, however, is interested in a different kind of barrel. Oh. Alright, so that one did get shot. But yes. Oh. Alright, I found tech. Nice. I was doing that I didn't do that for any particular reason. We still have that indicator on the screen. Unless it's talking about a different ladder. I hope nothing has gone... Okay, we're good. Maybe we're not so good, considering the ground is still shaking, and even more violently now, but... we're alive, at least. Yeah, the game does still seem a little bit loud. A little bit loud in my monitor. But yeah. I don't know, I guess I can't really know unless I've heard it, necessarily. But maybe we will hop over to the channel real quick and see what the level is. It seems pretty reasonable. Alright, anyway. Perish. Nice, nice. Very nice. Yes, the attack animations are very, very cool and dynamic, I must say. Oop, I forgot to attack him. Or, I was trying to attack, but I got a little too close. Very good, very good. Yes, the prototypical weapon for an Atelier protagonist is the staff. Pretty much all Atelier protagonists use a staff. And Yumia does use a staff of sorts, but it also happens to be a gun. If you press Y while close to a lever while out exploring, you'll miss a tutorial prompt. Alright. There we are. Be a little bit quicker on the draw there. A switch. Well, we know what to do with those. All problems can be solved with firearms if you apply them creatively enough. This looks like something. Hello there. Range shift. Battle is divided into two areas, the inner range and the outer range. You can switch between ranges with a range shift. Press the directional pad to evade the enemy's attack. Switching between ranges also changes the character's skills. Don't be afraid to jump between ranges. Pardon. Don't be afraid to jump between ranges for best results. Stun symbols. All enemies have physical and magic stun symbols. Striking with an attack that matches the displayed icon will reduce the number of symbols. Try using skills to bring the total to 0. So yeah, so all of our ranged attacks seem to be magic in nature. And I can see why with an animation like that. Nice. When the number falls to 0, the enemy will become stunned, which is a weakened state. This concludes the tutorial. Get out there and find your own battle style. Oops. Okay, so the different buttons do correspond. Whoops. We'll back up. Yes, do correspond, it seems, to individual commands. I wonder if I can move around without dodging, or if I need to dodge in order to move. Nothing to be had from these barrels, so perhaps I should stop whacking them. But why would I do that? Sit. There we are. And a solid... Oh, I was going to say a solid kick, but a knee works too. Hello, everyone. Alright, then just where we need to be, it seems. Him indeed. Ooh, that's quite a hymn there. It was worth a try at least. That's less than ideal. Nothing that I want to be involved in, I think, but it looks like we have no choice. Nice. Oh. No hesitation, I like that. Unfortunately, passion is not quite enough to win this fight. Oh dear. That definitely isn't good. Hello, Go-Go. Good to see you. I think my mix-it-up's a little bit off. Yeah, my chat on my mix-it-up isn't visible. Good to see. Yeah, good to see you as well. I am indeed streaming too. Yes, we've just gotten through the tutorial. Or rather, we've gotten through part of the tutorial at least. Yes. Did it this morning? Nice, nice. Yeah, what did you stream today, Go-Go? Tutorial is never truly over. Fair enough. There's always more to learn. Did Minecraft? Nice.
アトリエにうってつけな場所。
Good.
きっと錬金術師が使ってたと思うんです。あの廃墟。
Having an atelier is very important for part of the a very important part of the Atelier games. Yes, might do AC later. Assassin's Creed, is that?
何ですか？
確かに俺は準備をしておいてくれとは言ったが、あちこち調べ回ってくれとは言ってないぞ。
すいません。
Yes.
早く役に
What?
立ちたくて。
Ah, did I misspeak?
俺がちゃんと言わなかったのが悪いさ。
Yes.
けど改めて意識しておいてくれよ。お前はこのアラディス調査団の要であると同時に、一応は
Yes, didn't hear me? Fair enough. Fair enough. But yeah, I was asking if you, yeah, what AC stood for, basically. I speculated Assassin's Creed.
お前に対する世間の目を考えれば気持ちが
Yes,
わかるな。
Assassin's Creed, Animal Crossing, Ace
焦ら
Combat,
なくても
air
調査は
conditioning,
ここから
perhaps.
始まるんだ。
Probably more to be said. Odyssey? Gotcha. Yes, more folks to join us on our investigation, it would seem.
団長、彼女が例の。
ああ、アラディスの調査を進めるため、俺が招いた錬金術師だ。先に伝えた通り、今後お前たちは監視役として彼女と共に動いてもらう。
ええ。団長がそういうのなら。
This fellow seems to be somewhat less than impressed with us.
ユミア・リースフェルトだな。僕はユーステラ騎士団所属。ビクトル・フォン・デューラーだ。エアハルト団長より聞いているとは思うが、錬金術師である君の監視を担当する。立場をよくわきまえた上で、与えられた任務を遂行するように。もちろん、僕らも協力はするが。
よろしくお願いします。
分かっていると思うが、錬金術は禁忌の術だ。あくまでも君は調査のために特例で術の使用を認められているということを重々理解してくれ。
Well, I'm glad that we get the ability to use alchemy, because it wouldn't be... It'd be very difficult for us to be an alchemist if we weren't allowed to use alchemy.
そんなんじゃ仲良くなれるものもなれないってば。気楽に行こう、気楽に。同じく騎士団所属、アイラ・フォン・デューラー。お兄ちゃんともども志願して調査団に参加したの。
Yes,
よ
nice
ろし
to
く
meet the two
ユ
of
ミ
you.
ア。年近そうだし、敬語はなしでお願いね。
よろしく、アイラさん。アイラでいいのかな？
そんなにかしこまらないでもいいのに。ほら、お兄ちゃんも。
ああ。以後、よろしく頼む。
Alright, let us begin.
よろしくお願いします。錬金術の扱いについても十分。二人は実際に錬金術って見たことありますか？
I would assume probably not, considering that it is
あ
forbidden.
るわけないだろう。
見れる機会がないからね。
ならまずは一度。
Yes, what type of game is this? So yeah, so generally, the Atelier games are turn-based RPGs in which you will, you go out and you do a lot of gathering of materials to perform alchemy, to create various items. Some you create for the purposes of plot progression, others you create just, for your own use. Bombs, potions, various types of other items with various other effects. Create items to fulfill requests, side quests given to you by other characters and whatnot. Yeah, by the way, incidentally, how's the audio? Yeah, it seems like it could be a little bit loud to me, but it sounded all right when I checked it earlier. Yeah, it's great. Okay. Yes, press A button to open the area map. The area map allows you to see the information about the area you're in, and also place pins to help you remember locations of interest. You can use the area map to fast travel to specific areas. Yes, you have to unlock landmarks and or fast travel points before you can fast travel to them. You can gather by pressing Y when near things with an icon on them. Various ingredients can be obtained depending on what you're gathering from. Gathering Gathered items are stored in your basket and can be used for synthesis and many other situations. But yeah, so that's going into a little bit of what you do. You know, you go out into the field, you find things, you fight monsters, you collect materials, you make things, basically. But yes, it's not, you know, a crafting game in the same vein of Minecraft or something of that sort, really. But, because yes, you don't as often, yeah, I wouldn't say that there's as much of a focus on making equipment and such. Generally, it's more so about making items. Yes, you generally can make equipment, but it's not as much of a focus. But yes. So I know that this game is a little bit different from other Atelier games. Yes, it's definitely a lot more dynamic in combat from what we've seen so far. Yeah, for one thing, the combat is not turn-based. Yes, the combat is more dynamic, and there could be a number of other differences that I haven't yet had the opportunity to see. Ah, there we go, I have to whack it. Genshin-like game? I haven't played enough of Genshin Impact to be able to say. But yes. I know that this one, from the sounds of things, is a little bit more open world than other Atelier games, which are typically more instance. Yeah, the style of character gives off Genshin. I can see that. But yeah, whoops. Alright. Let's probably not take too much time to get too many items, because we do have a game to play at some point, but there's always a lot to be gained from picking flowers and whatnot. Materials we gather now are materials we don't need to gather later. Let's see. So that's where we're going. We have zipline glove. Press A near zipline to reach your destination more quickly. I assume that I don't have a zipline glove, from the sound of things. Alright, time for routine maintenance.
これを機に新しい機能をつけようと思うんだよね。炎の力を強めて暖房機能とか魔物への追撃機能も。
やめてください。余計なことをする必要はありません。フラミーは今でも十分高性能です。
Yes, my little companion here is Flammy, incidentally. Lot we had over here. Yes, I do like that it shows us what we're getting. Yes. Let's, again, not get too lost in the weeds, literally or figuratively. I'll pick things up as I pass by them, but I'm not going to go that much out of my way to gain other things, or to get into fights at this point. Let's see. Yeah, so I know that Genshin Impact does have sort of a climbing system and things like that. This game doesn't have that. Yeah, I don't think it has quite as much of a focus on sort of free roaming exploration as that. But again, a lot of the information I'm working off of is just information from previous games in the series. Okay, so I can sprint up ladders too. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, okay. I was going to say, game brand new? It is indeed brand new. Yeah, it just came out earlier today. Yes, it unlocked on Steam about 2 hours ago. And so I spent, the time to download it, and then a little bit of time getting stream prepped, and that's, I started playing about as early as I possibly could. Now, I'm definitely lost. Okay, no, wait. Let's see, I guess, uh-oh. Alright, so let's not fall off any cliffs if I can avoid it. But let's jump up some cliffs if we can. There we go. I don't know that this is the route that we want to take to get where we're going. In fact, I'm pretty sure that we are going the wrong way. Or maybe not. There's a ladder. Can we... Okay. I suppose it makes sense to assume that the ladder can be climbed from the direction you approach it at. Quite the lovely view, this. Alright, hold on. Oh. I didn't expect this posing. Let's see. I know that there's a camera mode. Camera mode.
目的地を選んでください。
Going to go get stream ready? Alright. See you around, Gogo. Hopefully I'll figure out camera mode one of these days, but until then... Actually... No, definitely not any of these options. Yeah, it's nice to see you too, Gogo. Alright. Ah, here we are. So yes. Yeah, no lurk. Yeah, I don't have any... I should probably set up some sort of commands at some point. I enter the shadows. So yes. Have a good time there. I definitely should set up some commands at some point. That is definitely not a thing that I have done much before. Alright, alright. So, we do want to... Movement speed. Is that the camera movement? I suppose so, yes. Alright. Can we change where we're positioned a little bit? Yeah, I think I want to be facing over here. This would make for a good shot, I think. The odd wolf creature, I think, detracts a little bit. It's cool, but I don't think it really... It makes things look a little bit strange for the photo. Here we are. Yes. We can turn that off, though. So, be gone. Alright. I think this will do well. Alright. Anyway. Yes, again, I don't want to spend too much time on this. Where am I going? This way. Okay. Actually, hold on. This... Okay, this is where we need to go. This is where we are. I think... Okay, I think I've made a mistake. I think we want to go over here. Whoop. I suppose that will work. Actually, do these show up? Ah, here we go. Yes. So yeah, so it's not visible as like a beam of light or anything like that, which I was kind of hoping for. I don't know what would happen if I fall off this cliff. Where are we? I mean, we're not too far from where we are, but we did go in the wrong direction, I think. Fortunately, these raptors are not too tremendously vicious creatures. So yeah, so I suppose this... Is this... Okay, I'm assuming that this trail is leading us to where we need to go. The types of monsters and gatherable ingredients that appear may change depending on the time of day or the weather. It's interesting that I'm getting water and whatnot from picking up things that are decidedly not water. Quite a few ingredients around the atelier.
多分昔の錬金術師が使ってたんじゃないかな。
周辺の安全を確認。休息が可能です。
Alright, here we are.
見つけた。
Can't resist a little bit more gathering, though. A lot of gathering will be done. Alright, now, actually on to business. This place is indeed.
私のアトリエということにしました。たった今から。
アトリ
Yeah, that's what the game's
錬
called.
金術師の拠点のこと。この場所、大昔も同じように使われていたんだと思う。
エ？ああ、ボロ屋じゃん。
It's a little bit abandoned, but, you know.
これから整備していく予定ってことで。
大昔というのはアラディスの大災害より前か。
Hard to say.
なら、ここも危ない場所だったり？
特に変なものはなかったと思うけど。
Flammy seems to be pretty convinced it's safe, so I trust Flammy.
禁忌を制すとは団長の考えは読めないな。
As they say, forbidden problems require forbidden solutions.
ちょっとお兄ちゃん、そんな禁忌とか言ったらユミヤもやりにくいでしょ。ユミヤが変なことしないように私たちがいるんだから。
I've already done some weird things, like contemplating falling off of cliffs and picking up tremendous amounts of flowers, but
始めますね。
I haven't done anything that's a danger to anyone else yet, at least.
どう？ユミヤ、すぐにできそうなの？
ちょっと待ってね。
ユミヤ？
あれを準備して、その次は。
ちょっと？
Yes, we're thinking right now.
入って大丈夫？
そうだね。あと何個か準備が終わったら始められるかなというところで。
I do like how expressive Yumiya's ahoge
手
is.
伝おうか。
でも二人は監視役って立場だし。
Well, it'll be easier for them to observe if we're actually doing something.
調査に必要な準備ならば手を貸す。
ありがとうございます。すみません。
気にしないで。ほら、何が必要なのか教えて。
そうだな。
これで素材の準備はできたな。
Cool. Alright, so all the gathering we did has paid off.
あとは錬金術に使うものとそうでないものを仕分けして。
全部が使えるわけじゃないんだ。
錬金術は素材に宿るマナを活用してるから。マナの少ない素材は錬金術には向かないんだよね。でも余った資材にも使い道はあるよ。錬金術以外にも何か作る機会は多いだろうし。
Good to know.
ああ、なんかサバイバルみたいでいいね。
調査団の資源にも限りがある。使えるものは何でも使うべきだな。
まずは仕分けした素材を収納しておきたいな。そのあたりから着手してみよう。
You can create furniture by using a workbench. There are specific materials you've needed for different kinds of furniture. Furniture blueprints can be obtained from treasure troves or as quest rewards. Objects can be crafted at a workbench. You can make multiple objects at once by consuming the necessary materials. Blueprints are obtained through exploration and as quest rewards. Yes. So, this is some stuff that I got for pre-ordering the game, I believe. Yes. So, one thing that I was aware of is that there is a sort of base building system in this game. Yes, which is not another thing that's not common in this series. Yes, we have more than enough to make one of all of these things. I don't know what of these things we will necessarily need, but the crown icon on the container implies that it's something that I should make. I do like that I can inspect the container before I commit to creating it.
置けそうな数は
Yes, I don't know if I need to make any particular number
何
of
個か
these
作っ
things.
ておこうかな。何個か作っておこうか
But I
な。
suppose... I guess we already had a workbench. I suppose if we
何個か作っておこ
can,
う
we
か
might
な
as well make everything.
何個か作っておこうかな。
Yes, when you... Ah, okay, yes, it did say to create a container there. When you return to the atelier or a building area with a container, the items in your basket will be automatically transferred to the container. Ingredients stored in containers can be used during synthesis. Yes, so now we place the objects in some fashion. If you need help with anything, just ask. I'll help in any way I can. If the preparations are complete, then let's get started. Alright, so left bumper while in a building area. Okay.
快適な感じにしたいな。
I suppose it doesn't necessarily matter where the container is. It does actually, can we? No. I was going to ask if it would allow me to create the object specifically from this interface, but it seems like not. Can we rotate this or anything? Ah, yes. I don't know if the orientation of it matters in any capacity, but we might as well put it down. I don't feel like it's necessary to have a second workbench, considering that we already have one, but... And it doesn't seem like there's anything we can do with this altar at this point. I imagine that we do need to be able to access the entrance of the dressing room in order for it to be of much use to us, though. I don't intend to use it necessarily immediately, but... Yes, okay. A strange little setup here, but it works.
今置いたのって収納用の箱？
Among other things, yes.
うん、ひとまずはこれくらいなら簡単に用意できるよ。錬金術はとにかくたくさんの道具とか素材が必要になるから、拠点もしっかり準備しないと。
We are a little bit over-prepared on the base, but at least we don't have less than the required number of tools and ingredients, presumably.
今はまだ作れるものも、その資材も何もかも足りないけど。
Yeah, I need to figure out what's up with my mix it up as well, because it's definitely not active. Anyway. Ingredients, yes,
逆に
okay.
言えば今後任務を進めつつ資材とかを集めればどんどん充実させられるってことだよね。
So yes, do not worry about having to collect more ingredients. We have quite a few at this point. Oh, we've got another bot.
ここにおしゃれなソファーとか置いたりして。
Out of here. Thank you. Having a cute sofa would be nice, but I feel like we should probably make this space a little bit less desolate first.
わかってるけど、
Oh,
せっかくな
hold
ら
on.
いい部屋にしたい
Oh
じゃ
dear.
ん。
Did I? Alright, don't do that. Okay, we're good. Anyway. Let's see. Mix it up.
まあ確かに拠点の構築は調査団の重要な任務の一つだが、
便利なら何を置いたっていいですから。いい拠点にしましょう。
So, hopefully closing and reopening Mixed Up hasn't caused any problems. Okay, it seems that, yes, it is reading chat properly now. It doesn't see messages from before, but it is present at least, whereas it wasn't previously, so that's good. Fortunately, we can jump up for small cliffs.
そういう時はこれを使えば。
Ah, yes. As we already established, shooting things is a good way to solve a lot of problems.
撃って落とすってこと？
We are indeed going to shoot it
その
down.
方が楽だし。
へ
なことに銃弾を消費していいのか。肝心な場面で弾切れを起こす。
And we'll just make more bullets.
い
Clearly.
え銃弾くらいなら。いつでも作れますから。
I like how self-satisfied she is with that declaration.
銃弾作れるの？
外で作れるのは本当に簡単なものだけだけどね。
銃弾は簡単なものなのか。
They're simple for an alchemist.
現地で素材を集めて現地で作ったりできるんだよね。探索もはかどりそうじゃん。
Alright. So yeah, so this is another thing that has been brought up.
調査団の役に立てるか。
Of course, what could be more simple than creating bullets, or more helpful than creating bullets? But yes, anyway, I know that I had seen people talk a little bit about the fact that there was a simple synthesis system. Yes, they had brought that up, and there had been some concern that there wasn't like a proper synthesis system or something of that sort. But I would assume that the fact that it's called simple synthesis would imply that there is a complex synthesis as well. So yes, anyway, you can hold left bumper and right bumper while exploring to open the radial menu and start simple synthesis. Use materials to create exploration items that will help you in your travels. Select the recipe you want to synthesize and press A to create the exploration item. You must have the required materials and enough energy to create the item. So yes, hold left F bumper. I assume that means,
ちょっと疲
pardon
れ
me,
たな。
I assume that means left bumper or right bumper, because previously I opened it with just left bumper. While exploring to open the radial menu, and from there open your exploration bag. You'll need to equip exploration items to your exploration bag to use them while adventuring. Items made via simple synthesis will automatically be equipped inside your exploration bag if there is space. If your bag is full, they will be stored in your container or basket instead. Materials are unique ingredients that are used for simple synthesis and building. Materials can be obtained by either gathering them or using the disassembler to break down items. Hit enemies and gimmicks with scan ammo to learn more information about them. For example, hitting an enemy with these bullets reveals the target's level and what ingredients it drops. The memory vials located in various locations can also be scanned by directly interacting with them. Alright, so, simple synthesis,
どれにしよ
zipline glove. Okay, so these are a limited use resource. Yes, I suppose that explains why it says if you have a zipline glove. Yes. So, we've got a reasonable amount of ammo. We've already got some bandages and smoke bombs.
う。これでいけるはず。
Making a zipline glove could be good. I don't know what this percentage indicator is. But yeah, anyway, so usually the crafting system is fairly involved in these games. It's something of a mini
こ
game.
れでいけるはず。
Make plenty of bullets.
今
Yeah, all it requires is iron. Yeah, I don't know what that percentage indicator indicates. I wonder if that's maybe a... Oh, energy, okay. Yeah, so I suppose that means that that's how much energy we'll have left over after we've done it.
急がなくても平気かな。
Yes. So, I think we have a reasonable amount of bullets for now.
これでしばらくは安心かな。
Alright. Alchemy is indeed. Oh yes, let's see what alchemy is.
すぐ使い切らないように大事に使おう。
Okay, so these... Yes, this was completely unnecessary. I suppose it could be good if we need to really regenerate a lot of energy, but... Alright, nothing more to say from Victor, or at least nothing more of consequence from Victor. But yes, definitely could use some livening up this place. Yeah. Some more lighting, perhaps.
ありがとう。とりあえず最低限の準備は整ったと思う。それじゃ。
Alright, the time has come for alchemy
ご
to
めん
occur.
ユミヤ、ちょっと待って。
Hmm?
それ何？
It's flaming.
こいつは
超高性能自立型探索補助装置フラミーと申します。
喋った。まさかこれも錬金術で。
私が一から作ったものではないんですが、これから始まる調査でも活躍すると思います。
こんなものまで生み出すとは。
My screen went black there for a second, but it doesn't look like anything happened on the stream's end.
これまでも何度か作ったこともある簡単なもので。
So yeah, we should be good.
みんなの役に立つものを作ります。信じてほしいです。
見届けさせてもらおう。
I suppose we'll have to do a little bit more than just do alchemy to impress them. Yes, considering that they seem to be of the opinion that alchemy is kind of undesirable.
お母さん、始めよう。
Alright, so the synthesis begins. I don't know why it suddenly gave me a keyboard prompt. Yumia can create tools by weaving memories together. This ability is known as alchemy. Alchemy begins by choosing a recipe to make. You will only have a few at the moment, but you can obtain more from a variety of sources. Let's try to synthesize a loof, an air element attack item which Yumia already knows how to make. Select the loof recipe. Yes, so we have a loof. Yes, we have a pinwind.
役に立ちそうなのは。
This is a memory vial. It is an alchemical tool that can store memories. The recipe for a loof is recorded in this memory vial. Accessing it will start synthesis. The memory has been accessed in the alchemy core, or for short, is now visible. A core is an important memory that directly affects an item's strength. The goal of synthesizing is to strengthen this core. Please select the alchemy core. Alright. So, alchemy core. Okay. The currently selected core is in an inactive state. This means its effects cannot be strengthened and the synthesizing process cannot continue. To proceed with synthesis, you must first activate the core by providing it with mana from certain ingredients. Once it has been activated, the synthesis can continue.
材料はあったかな?
Selecting a core will display the ingredients needed to activate the core. A loof's core requires mana from a pinwind to activate. Please select a pinwind. So yes, so we've got different pinwinds. I assume that the one with the letter D on it is probably more effective or in some way more desirable than the other one. The number means or implies something, but I don't know what that would mean. This one has resonance, which seems good. The pinwind's mana has activated the core. Activating the core has caused new things to appear. This is called an alchemy slot, or simply slot. Like cores, slots can have ingredients added to them. This is a visualization of mana floating in the air. It is called drifting mana for short. Let's continue with the synthesis. Please select a slot. Yeah, so it seems that there is only a slot to select at this point. The blue circle you see now is called a resonance area. Resonance areas occur when ingredients are added to slots and vary in size depending on the ingredients used. When the core, slots, or mana are within the resonance area, the finished product is enhanced. Please choose an ingredient. Okay. So yeah, so the ametite here will definitely encompass the core. I don't know if this will count. This is probably even better, considering that it encompasses more. And another pinwind would possibly be even better.
少し材料も整理しようかな。
Yes. Mana inside the resonance area has resonated and has acquired certain The mana inside the resonance area resonated and has been acquired. Acquired mana will accumulate and release its power for once a certain amount has been reached. There we are. The core and slots have also resonated. They aren't acquired like mana, but by causing them to resonate, the hidden powers of the synthesized item can be unleashed. Once resonance is finished, the amount of mana acquired and the number of times the core and slots resonated are counted. higher this count, the stronger the finished product. Let's wrap up the synthesis here. Please select Start Synthesis. Synthesizable. But yeah, so the alchemy is definitely very different from what I've seen, both in terms of presentation and how the minigame works. Yes, just from the looks of things so far. Yes, it's definitely a lot more magical. A lot more magical than in previous games, where it was presented as more of a chemical process, which, you know, makes sense, even though that is what alchemy typically means. Yeah, usually in an Atelier game, in order to do alchemy at all, you need a cauldron or something like it. An air element attack item looked has been created. With that, synthesis is complete. Yes. And, you know, you learn recipes not by collecting memory vials, but by, you know, buying them or discovering them or, you know, getting pages for books and things like that. Alright, so that was pretty impressive looking. I don't know if they necessarily will will appreciate it just based on that, but it's impressive looking to be sure. Trying not to seem too impressed by the alchemy, huh?
お二人から見てどうでしたか？
なんか全然想像と違った。こんなやり方で物を作り出すなんて。
It was different from what I imagined too. Because yes, I definitely hadn't seen the actual alchemy system so far.
その動作、まるで手品か芸事のようだ。これが錬金術なのか。
It would appear that it is.
体を動かしてるのは、これが私にとって一番マナを操りやすいからです。
Mana components, of course.
命が大地に帰ると、魂に刻まれた記憶や思いがマナへと変わって大地に蓄えられる。私たちの身の回りにもマナはたくさんありますけど、錬金術師はそれを直接操る。マナーを操って刻まれた記憶からレシピを編み出し、素材を捧げることで物質を再構築する術。
Yeah, definitely a very different form of presentation than previous games. Yeah, I know that in, for instance, the Dusk games, there is a character who is a witch, and the fact that she can use magic is considered something very, very unusual. Yes, it is simply not possible in that setting for most people to use magic, from what I understand. Whereas this, again, definitely feels very magical.
それが錬金術です。
私にはぼんやりとしか感じられないけど、マナを直接操るなんて初めて見たかも。
Yes, granted, the ability to do alchemy does seem to be something akin to how, yeah, it is treated as something, or at least the ability to interact with manas is being treated as something somewhat unusual here.
これができるのも特殊な才能なんだって。私もつい最近分かったことだけど。
つまり君自身、この力がどれほどの潜在能力を秘めているかわからない。
Well, we will learn.
そうですね。これから学んでいけば、もっといろんなことが。
You'll be able to create all sorts of very interesting alchemical tools.
辺り一帯に広がる自然に飲み込まれた廃墟。ここはアラディス帝国が滅んだのは、錬金術の力が暴走したからだと言われている。
Don't worry, we will simply not run rampant.
仮に君自身にその気がなくとも、御しきれずに力が暴走する恐れもあるんじゃないか。
すいません。可能性は否定できないです。私もまだまだ未熟だから。
Somewhat worrying, but
でも
we're probably
知らなきゃ何も始まらない。
probably not powerful enough to eradicate a civilization on our own.
調査団の目的はこの地に残されたあらゆる謎を解き明かすことです。 私は一人の錬金術師としてこの地で錬金術によって何が行われたのか知りたい。
Yeah, given that this empire was apparently destroyed by alchemy, I can see why it would be a forbidden technique. I'm curious to see how... Yeah, curious to see a little bit more of Yumia's background, considering that she knows it when it's a forbidden technique.
そのためにここに来ました。
そうか。
Victor's still less than impressed, it seems. Isla's on board, though.
これ何に使うの？
魔物退治に使う道具、まだまだ改良の余地はあるけど。
I think it was a pretty good loot.
へえ、試しに使ってみてもいい？
おい、アイラ。
知らなきゃ何も始まらない。それは本当のことじゃない？
うん、使ってみてほしい。前に何度か作ったことがある道具だから失敗はしてないと思う。
僕たちの目の届くところで頼むぞ。
よーし、決まり。それじゃ早速出発。
Alright, time to explode a creature. Oh. Worrying.
今の声。
I think more worrying than the voice itself, the fact that it caused you to collapse. Emperor.
フラミ、今何かあった？
微小なマナの揺らぎは検知しましたが、それ以上の情報は得られていません。
It would seem that something or someone is trying to contact us.
フラミーが持つ機能はユミヤが調整したものであり、その上限はユミヤの錬金術の実力に依存します。
Fair enough.
なんでこんな生意気になっちゃったんだか。
Well, we probably shouldn't keep the others waiting too long. Before, you can equip the items you have created by going to Battle Settings and Strategy on the main menu. Ah. Leonard 77600. Thank you for the follow. Yes, attack items are set under Items, Equipment under Equipment, and Restoratives and Support items under Support items.
ともかく、さっきの道具、近くの魔物で効果を試してみようか。
突然爆発とかもしないよな。
It won't suddenly explode on us, but it will suddenly explode on their enemies. Unfortunately, we've skipped a little bit of dialogue there. Yeah, how's your streaming going? It's going good. Yes. Interesting that the... Alright. Before, I wasn't seeing chat in the Mix It Up. But now I'm seeing your messages in Mix It Up and not in... Yeah, seeing your messages in Mix It Up and not in the stream chat. Very strange. But yes, anyway, it's going well. But yes, not a whole lot to be said so far, because we're still very much in the tutorial. But I've been enjoying this so far. Don't worry, Flammy, we're several steps ahead of you. Countless steps ahead of everyone else, really. We've made a lot of things before we had any need for them. So yes, first replenish your energy. Right, thank you, Flammy. But just who made this thing? It is useful for energy replenishment, but the original use may have been different. Well, I guess I should take whatever help I can get. Alright, energy generators are devices that can fill Yumia's energy core. Energy generators charge over time, and when interacted with, their accumulated charge will refill that much energy. You can place energy generators in bases you have built. Be sure to find base sites and expand your exploration range. a liquefied form of mana created through a special technique that can prevent the negative effects of mana-bound areas. Energy is used for a variety of things through exploration, such as unlocking landmarks and interacting with certain objects. Alright, so, we have plenty of energy. Now we need to head to a
長時
monster
間の
nest.
探索は思わぬミスにつながります。定期的に拠点へ帰還することを推奨します。
So yes,
また採
so,
取できるように取るときは
I've
根を
skipped
残す
some
ようにし
dialogue
ないと。
again by accident,
これこれ
but at least it was just talking more about the need to recharge,
こ
which
の
you've
辺
already
かな
established. Yes, so,
見
let's
つけ
see.
た
Are these the creatures that we are? No, we're going past them. Yes, typically,
魔物
the
の
first
生息地
item,
に侵入。数で
rock
押され
lizard
ると危
habitat.
険です。 警戒してください。
Yes, it's very typical in an Atelier game for the first item that you create to be a
こ
bomb.
の辺りで試してみましょう。
Yes, usually it is a bomb that goes by the name of bomb. Yes, the Luft is a little bit different, though. At least, it probably fulfills roughly the same purpose, but it's, again, a slight difference in presentation. Alright, that's a fairly significant difference in presentation, actually.
これが道具の力？
うん。アイラもビクトルさんもこれがあればすぐに使えるはず。
I probably should have equipped them, as suggested.
一体どういう仕組みなんだ？
私はメモリアリングって呼んでます。この中にさっき作ったアイテムを記憶しておいて、戦闘中瞬時に呼び起こすんです。慣れれば武器と道具の両方を駆使しながら戦えるっていう感じです。
Alright.
いろんな道具を作れば作るほど戦いの選択肢も増えていくはずです。まだそんなに作れるものはないですけど。
But we will have more before too long, I think.
へえ、面白そうじゃん。
Alright. Switching characters. While holding down right trigger, use X or B to switch characters. Let's try switching characters now. Yes. Press left, right trigger, and X to switch the character you're controlling to Isla. There we are. Okay, so we can move around freely. You can switch which character you're controlling at any time. Find the best timing to switch around. Slot change. Pressing right bumper will allow you to change slots and access your equipped items. Start by trying that first. So, we didn't equip any items, so I'm glad that they automatically gave us that. Cooldowns will still reduce when slots are changed. You can also do slot changes while using a skill or item, so change whenever you need to. Alright. Press Y, X, B, or A to use an item. To select skills, items can be used one after another until you run out of uses. Let's try using your equipped loop. Let's try and do this. Interesting.
まだまだ。それそれ。
So yeah, typically you have a limited number of uses on an item. But this feels a little bit different. At the very least, it doesn't list a specific number of uses. After stunning an enemy with a skill, you can use an item to strike the opponent's vulnerability and deal massive damage. Make the most of the opportunity. Battle rate. During combat, battle rate accumulates by attacking, guarding against, and evading enemies. Dealing with battle rate shortens the cooldowns of your actions, making fighting easier. Being KO'd will reduce your battle rate by half, so fight carefully. This concludes the tutorial. Get out there and find your own battle style. Oops. Alright. So yes, so we want to do magic damage to this thing. But it looks like magic damage is not necessarily Isla's specialty. So let's... Whoop. Okay, there we go. Yes, Ryza. Or not Ryza. No, that's not her name. Okay, so that creature is deceased. Alright. Well, maybe we're overthinking things a little bit. Yes. Okay.
どうでしたか？使用感は。
Yes, as it turns out, tripling the number of characters in the battle makes the battles go by faster.
すごいよこれ。こんな道具がすぐ作れちゃうなら、今後の調査も。
Yeah, I guess, the Luft was presented as a tool rather than an item. So that makes some sense as to why it doesn't seem to be a consumable. Victor is still not impressed.
難しいところだね。
この程度じゃまだよくわかんないですよね。
団長からもアラディスを調査する上で錬金術師である君の力が必要だと聞いている。知らなきゃ何も始まらない。僕はその力が正しく調査団のために活用されるよう監視者として見届けるだけだ。
I get the distinct impression that Victor is ready at a moment's notice to put us down like a feral dog. Or a rabid dog, rather.
監視言わなくても仲良くやろうよ。
アイラ、僕らは任務でここに来ていることを忘れるなよ。
じゃあ一生大嫌いってこと？
そうも言ってないだろう。僕はただ客観的な意見を。
私も早く2人から認めてもらえるように頑張ります。
I feel like we don't need to do a lot of proving ourselves to Isla at this point. It's mostly Victor.
一通り準備が完了したなら一度団長のところに報告へ戻ろう。
そろそろ実際の任務が始まるのかな？
Is it indeed? Checking the old guide towers scattered across the land will allow you to use them as fast travel points. Unlocking an old guide tower will give you a small amount of energy. Alright.
また採取できるように取るときは根を残すようにしないと。
Gather a few items. And activate a fast travel point.
すぐ使い切らないように大事に使おう。
Alright, so I think we'll report back in, and then we'll wrap up for the day. Don't mean to bother you, Mr. Rock Lizard. Exploration. Small shrines. Obtain a small amount of energy and energy shards by checking the small shrines dotted throughout the land. Collecting a certain amount of energy shards will allow you to convert them into energy prisms. Energy prisms can be used to enhance energy actions and unlock skills in the skill tree. All shrines can also be accessed via shooting. Let's see, what do we... Right, so we switch ammo like so. Okay, there we are. Power must be restored to use. Oh, okay. So we need to use actual ammunition to activate the shrine, it seemed like. So yeah, so ammunition is in fact a somewhat limited resource. I was thinking, well, it's a very limited resource, but I was thinking that we could maybe shoot things with the scan bullets to activate things. You know, I saw that it was a way to scan things, of course, but... Alright, I feel like I'm going to spend a lot of time shooting a lot of things in this game.
超高性能なフラミーみたいなのがいたかも。
フラミーは数百年前の装置に負けるようなやわな
So it looks like we can't shoot everything.
フラミーは超高性能ゆえに
At the very least, we can shoot everything, but it won't necessarily be of use to us. Beeline. I wonder if there's anything to be gained from shooting these things other than just a little bit of information. Let's see. Guide. Okay, so this... Rock Raptor. Rock Lizard. I guess these are variants of creatures, perhaps? Okay, so we've only fought the Rock Lizards. So yeah, so I'm assuming that's why that they're the only thing here. Yes, there's a lot of descriptions here. I'm tempted to read them all out, but we'll refrain for now. I know that in previous games, they tended to, at the very least in the mysterious games, the mysterious game that I played, calling it the mysterious game makes it sound like it's a game that I don't understand, which is true to a certain extent, but yes, Atelier Sophie, what was it? What was the subtitle of that game? It had to do, yeah, it was something mysterious book. And yeah, there was like mysterious book, mysterious painting, and mysterious journey. was the trilogy, if I remember correctly. So that's why I'm calling them the mysterious games, for instance. Anyway. But yeah, so in Atelier Sophie, I know that typically entries in your like item descriptions and whatnot were presented as comments by your characters talking about the item, things like that. Yeah, talking about the item and various observations and whatnot. Yeah, it's a little bit unfortunate that we're not seeing the same sort of style here. I suppose it's perfectly serviceable. But I did like the extra bit of character. Speaking of character, yes, we have profiles. Alright, and lots of information. So yes, so, equipping things. Party. Alright, front and back. I suppose these are other characters, perhaps, that we don't have at this point. Okay, so we can choose different characters to sort of lead with. And we can change what range we want to start at, and things like that. Okay, this is interesting. None of it's immediately applicable, I don't think. And now I've forgotten where I need to go to equip things. Skills. We don't have other skills at this point. Okay, so we've only got the one loot. Uses 2. So does that mean... Hold on. When it says uses 2, okay. So that's just referring to how many times it can be used in a row. Alright. Alright. Anyway. So we've only got the one item, and so we can only put that on one person, presumably. Anyway. Let's actually get back to base so that I can report in and end the stream. I'd love to keep going, but I also would love to be well rested tomorrow, so... So yes, given what we've established, that shooting creatures with scan bullets doesn't add them to your compendium or anything of the sort, maybe I shouldn't do so just wildly at every opportunity. Ah, creature. Nice. Very good. Alright. What do we know about cats? Something good might happen if you feed it. Unfortunately, we don't have the means to do that at this point. Aqua Shadow. That sounds like an interesting creature. I wonder if we need to hit things directly with scan bullets. It seems like so. Because, yeah. I had looked at the... I don't know if I can shoot other people with scan bullets. With scan bullets, just to be clear.
やはりアラディスの生態系はユーステラとは若干の違いがあるようです。
魔物もそうだけど、ユーステラでは見たことない鳥を何羽も見たし。
些細でも何か発見した際は記録することを推奨します。アラディスの生態系を調べる貴重な資料となります。周辺の安全を確認。休息が可能です。
Alright, I'm gonna give them a reason to distrust me. Alright, so this does not work, unfortunately. But, there's another good way that you can learn about people, other than shooting them. Talking. The Alchemist, do you need something from me? No. But I can see why you'd be upset. Alright, you have nothing to say, it would seem. Alright, we don't want to get into a fight with beavers at this point. Nice. Very good. Tell me more about dogs. Alright, same as with cats. Understandable. Alright, so, Up we go.
これって
Can I? Okay, no, I can still. Yeah, right. I've double jumped previously, so I don't know why I suddenly was questioning whether or not I could.
ああ、あれが噂の。
You rumored
そうそう
indeed.
例の錬金術師だよ。団長が呼んだっていう。確かあの子、母親も錬金術師なんだってさ。よりにもよって、なんで
My
親子みたい
alchemist
で。
indeed.
気になるなら直接聞いてみたらどうだ？
本気？相手は禁術の使い手だよ。毎日怒らせて呪われたらどうすんのさ。
Don't worry, the worst thing that I would do is shoot you. I wouldn't put a curse on you intentionally.
Go苦労。よし、次の報告だ。
あれなんかバタバタしてる？
何かあったのですか？
ビクトルか。それが、
Hmm.
拠点が魔物に襲われてな。
That might be something we want to get involved in.
魔物が大事ないですか？
怪我人は出てしまったけど、なんとかね。
これ以上の被害を防ぐために、団長の指示で集中的にあたりの魔物を討伐することになった。
Understandable.
そうでしたか。
私たちも手伝おう。何かできることはありますか？
いくらでもあるぞ。特に、そうだな。魔物の討伐と怪我人の救護あたりが優先事項だ。
どちらも重要な任務ですね。
Indeed, they are important.
我々の立場的に手分けというわけにはいかない。呪力に向かうならばどちらかにしよう。
Hmm.
だとすると、どちらに向かいますか？
怪我人の救護。
Seems there's a little bit of
これ以上の被害を
dissension.
出さないためにも、ここは果敢に攻め込むべきじゃないか。
怪我人の救護が先じゃない？まずは体勢を立て直さないと。
当然、どちらも重要なことではある。今僕たちがやるべきことをやればいい。
ユミヤさんは？
Alright.
私ですか？
I do think.
私は
I think we'll go with. This feels like an option that would be better for perhaps ingratiating ourselves to the folks around here.
体勢を立て直すのが先決だと思いました。
君が錬金術師だな。
I am indeed that alchemist.
はい。
いいか。君は言われた通りに任務をこなしていればいいんだ。
And what I was told to do is give my opinion, and so I did.
余計なことは考えるな。するな。自分の立場をよくわきまえて行動するんだ。ビクトル、魔物の相当を優先してくれ。それと、彼女に余計なことをさせないよ
わかりました。
ちょっと。
うに。私はそもそも認めていないからな。禁忌に頼らねばならないなど、ユーステラの恥だ。
Well, evidently you are not the person to ask.
私は行く。
役に立たないと。
圧強めだね、あの人は。
Hmm.
厳格な人なんだ。錬金術を利用することに抵抗があるんだろう。
I wonder how things would be different if we were to choose the other dialogue option. I feel like he probably wouldn't be any friendlier, to be honest. But yes, we didn't quite do what I had said, but we are getting very close to the end of well past, well, yeah, we are very much well past the time that I usually like to end. So let's end on a note of a nice group pose. These two, or at least not all of these two, some of the folks that I am teamed up with may not be particularly fond of me or my abilities at this point, but I'm glad that we all know the importance of getting a cool pose in. And so, with that being stated, let us return to the studio. So yes, so, tonight has been Atelier Yumia. Pretty interesting. But yeah, very different. Yeah, it's definitely going to be very different. Very different. But yeah, I suppose the fact that it is quite different from other Atelier games won't matter so much to those of us who are not as familiar with Atelier as a series. So I probably shouldn't harp on it too much. But, I am also here to give my opinions about things. But yes, so, anyway, so tonight has been Atelier Yumia. I definitely want to play some more, because we have definitely left on a note that is not as interesting. Or rather, I feel like, I don't know. I want to pick back up, basically. I'm not satisfied with ending here, but for practical reasons we must. Anyway, so let's see, who is out there? Well, actually, first of all, before I do anything else, if anyone has any raid suggestions, I would be delighted to hear them. If not, I can find a target on my own. So yes, now I can go over business and whatnot. So yes, so tonight has been Atelier. Tomorrow and possibly Saturday, once again, will be Arc Nights. So yes, we are currently working on the Delicious in Dungeon event, and we are aiming to clear it. But yes, it seems unlikely, though perhaps not impossible, that it will take more than the Saturday to clear it. Or further than Saturday to clear it. So, if we're not done by Saturday, then we're going to do an extra long stream on Saturday. Yes. I feel like it should very much be possible, though. Yeah, we've got all of next stream to work on the final level, and I think that we've got a pretty decent grasp. Maybe not all of the particulars of the stage, but we've got a pretty decent grasp of what we're trying to do, and I think we've got a decent idea of how to accomplish it. So yes. So, anyway, the Friday stream, we can expect to be around 9:30 p.m. Central Time, but again, I'm going to try to aim to start at about 9 instead, a little bit earlier than usual. But yeah, definitely, I've been mentioning it before, but, if I am able to get things done quickly, I can definitely get started a lot sooner than I have been getting started. But yeah, I just haven't pushed myself before because it hasn't really been necessary, or at least it hasn't been necessary of late. And I don't like to be in too much of a rush because I feel like that leaves a strange sort of energy on the stream that I don't really like. But yes, there have definitely been a lot of streams where I've been in a hurry to get started or been in a hurry to get something done, and it's just not a pleasant experience for me, and so I can't imagine it's a terribly pleasant experience for everyone else either. But yes. Where was I? Somewhere, I'm sure. Yes, so. Right, okay. So I don't want to, force myself into doing anything in particular, or at any particular time, or trying to get things done too fast. But I definitely think that I'm at a point where I can very comfortably start earlier if it becomes necessary. I'm not planning to start very early most days, but it's definitely not unreasonable, I think. Not unreasonable in the vast majority of situations. And given that we have an event that we need to get done in a timely manner, yes, I feel like this is very much a situation where we would, yes, this is very much a situation where I'm willing to make sure to put in the time to get things started a little bit sooner, so we have a little bit more time to work on things. So yeah, so once again, Saturday will also probably be starting sooner than usual, possibly as early as 7:30. But yeah, okay. That is contingent on whether or not the event is cleared by that point, as stated. And let's see. So yeah, I was saying earlier, I did say earlier, that if we got the event cleared before Saturday, we would play Guilty Gear on Saturday. But I'm thinking I might want to play Atelier, to be honest. So, we shall see. Anyway, so, did I say I wanted a raid suggestion? Maybe, maybe not. Anyway, if you have any raid suggestions, I would be delighted to hear them. If not, I can find a target on my own. I will take a sip real quick. Sip. Not quite as quick as some sips that I've had, but I took a pretty substantial sip there. And so, not seeing any raid suggestions, so I think tonight, whom shall we see? Whom indeed? A lot of good options there today. But I think, yeah, someone whom we haven't seen in quite a while is Fairy Faye here, who's playing some It Takes Two, it looks like. Oh, okay. I saw something pop up, and I thought maybe that the stream was over or something like that. It looked a little bit like the sort of, watch this other video or whatever thing that pops up on a channel when they are not streaming. Anyway, so Fairy Faye playing some It Takes Two with Zonko Shepherd, whom I'm not terribly familiar with. So yes, Fairy Faye. So yes, raid is set up. The customary raid message is, as always, we have arrived. And so, thank you all for being here tonight. I hope that you've had a fine night. I hope that you will continue to have a fine night every night. And I hope that you will be well until the next time I see you. Thank you all very much, and farewell. Let us get this raid underway.